Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Back on Track. I think we called this series, and it's just going to be as a quick as possible update as to say what we have basically been up to, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've actually posted anything, and I've done a fair bit in this last weekend. So first of all, apologies for sound, apologies for lighting and stuff. We still need to sort that out. But yeah, as you can see, the layout has slightly changed, somewhat, and we've been on a little bit of a buying spree, to say the least, which we'll go over in a minute. But this is kind of like the best angle we've got to sort of show roughly what we're going to look like layout wise. So as you can see on the top section here, we've got our little town. It gets into focus. We're going to have this little town, which we'll have some closer looks. But I built one of the Metcalfe castles. That was slightly traumatic, being a plastic modeler and making a very, very intricate cardboard model. Won't be doing that anytime soon. We've managed to find a little town hall thing. So the idea is, in the corner, raised up on a platform, we'll have the town, and then we'll have like a little village and some shops and stuff like that on the top. And I'm hoping to make that all nice and lit up. Like I said, I'll get some close-up views in a minute. And then on this bit where the whiteboards are, we're going to have a tunnel basically on either side of the board. So we'll have a tunnel there and a tunnel there. And if we can see this little building here behind my DMU carriage, that's a station we got. And we'll have a look at that in a moment as well. Just kind of show you what we've got. So let's do that now. Alright, so Metcalfe Castle. So being from kind of like a worldy building background when it comes to like modelling with fantasy stuff and sci-fi stuff for wargaming and that, I usually can't help myself. When I start a modelling project, I get involved, and there is some made-up lore for this made-up place, and eventually, you know, in my head, this will be something that rivals Sodor. But yeah, so the Metcalfe building, I think I paid £18 for this castle. As you can see, it's a stunning looking building. To say it's made out of cardboard. My advice would be, so these cost £18 new. I often see them in kind of like model shops for second hand, or these, you know, the Metcalfe building second hand already built. I will most likely get a second hand one if I get another one that's pre-built, as long as it's in good nick. They're not much cheaper, but they are because they're quite well engineered and quite tough. They are very much time consuming, especially coming from kind of like a plastic modelling point of view. But yeah, so that's the castle. Eventually its home, we just kind of like have a look down there. If you can see in the background there, that mound, it's going to sit on there. The very old school polystyrene. It needs a lot more work to it. It's currently drying because it's had its first paints of coat, first coats of paint and stuff like that applied to it. So yeah, that's the first one. So next up, we have got this. I don't know what it is, to be honest. It needs some work. It's got some panels missing and whatnot. If we zoom in, I think we can see some of the stuff. It's mostly on the other side, but there's a little area it's missing. One of the stone balustrades sort of thing. But it cost me £5. well, actually, it cost the missus £5 because she saw it and she really liked it. And as this town is mainly for her, like, this is going to be the kind of main focal point building. The idea was, you know, you had the castle in this little town, village, place, and that, like, 15th, call it 15th century, and then later on, you know, castles, the big, the drafty, they're expensive to thingy. Instead, they made this grand building that they lived in, the estate owners. So yeah, we've got this for £5. I think it's a Volmer one. If we just move it round, as you can see, like, we're missing a pillar on there. And then some of the back, there's some glue, slight glue issues and stuff like that in it. The roof needs redoing. But that I can quite easily do. The spire's a bit wonky, but I quite like the fact that the spire's wonky, to be honest. It just adds a little bit of, I don't know, just a little bit of something. And then if we kind of like pan down just in here, I couldn't help myself. I shouldn't be buying cars and stuff like that, but I saw an Astra GTE. I've got fond memories of Astra GTEs because my brother used to have loads of them, and we had a lot of fun back in day driving around. But yeah, so that cost us £5, and then we picked up a couple of other little buildings. But the other main building we got was this here station. If we just kind of like flip this round. So I'm assuming this was a kit one. I'm not even sure if the person who made this originally kit bashed it from two buildings, because it does very much look like two buildings mashed together. So it's a railway station, or assumed it should be, because it's got the like British Rail, Network Rail symbol on it. It's been really nicely detailed with flocking and liching and stuff like that to give it this slightly overgrown, ivy-ridden, you know, in the middle of the countryside sort of thing, which I just love. I think that looks fantastic. But yeah, that was a tenner. So again, I think that's a pretty good price. It does need some work, but you know, it's hard with some people to kind of like think, oh well, you bought a tenner for something that someone's already made and it needs work on it. But you know, kits like this usually are very expensive. You know, probably talking building that size from Hornby, 50-60 quid. And yeah, it's an easy thing. It's roughly going to be situated there. So the plan is you'll have the trains going round the track here and there. Just look at the Princess Victoria in a minute. Is it Victoria? Yes, it's Victoria. And they come out the tunnels. This is going to be a cliff kind of face. So it's very much inspired on places such as Scarborough and Bamburgh Castle and stuff like that. You know, you've got these structures and they're impossibly high. You could look at Corfe Castle, go to Corfe Castle. You know, that was a statement. That it's like, that's the biggest hill in the area. Yeah, I want the biggest castle on top of the biggest hill. So this is kind of like what this place is. And as one of the inspirations is Scarborough, at some point, somewhere along this, we're going to have a funicular railway which goes up from the station. The platforms are going to be down here in kind of, have we got a pointy device? Round here, platform's going to curve on. Track needs changing. So this siding we've got here is basically going to go. And either I'll take a branch off the corner if I've got room to put a straight in, and have a siding run down here, or a branch off that corner, or we'll swap the points around. So the idea will be trains can come in from sort of like here, go out, and then we'll have I'm thinking about making some modular boards and stuff like that, so they can basically run down, and we can have some big long stretches, some fiddle yards, some whatever else, and have it all nice and modular, so we can basically take it down. And I'm toying with the idea, because we've got a banister there. Forgive the mess. This is a lot of stuff that is basically getting used. So if you see on that banister there, that's a dapple bridge on top of there. I'm thinking about running something from there and almost making part way a viaduct, a massive viaduct, because where I live, Conisborough, that's got a huge viaduct, which is kind of like inspiration as well for some of the stuff. And the other thing as well, that line could potentially have one branching down and kind of like going down this way on an incline, and then maybe even have a second station, you know, because the idea behind this is, you know, it was never a mainline station. It was a privately made station by the owners of this here estate. So that's that. Let's look at some of the other things I've been buying with some of the new Locos, because we've gone loco buying Locos. Okay, so I am determined to make a relatively short video in my lifetime. So this is going to be a very quick rundown of what we've got and like where it came from. So we've got this GWR 262 tank engine, £25, stuttering runner. I've had it on my layout. It runs pretty fine. I am going to organise a running session at some point as well. Yeah, can't fault it. I think it just needs a clean out, to be honest. I think it's an old Lima one, if I remember rightly, but looks absolutely fantastic. Runs fantastically well. Pulls quite a bit as well. So it's going to be perfect for this little layout as a kind of little passenger liner. And then I've been after some smaller, kind of like 060 sized engines, and we got this little, what is it, a J72? Let me just look at the box. This one came in a box. It's a Bachmann J72 class locomotive. And it's a lovely little runner. It cost me £30. I can't say a bad word about that. It just runs fine. It's great. And that's going to be kind of like one of the freighty shunters we're going to have lying around. The layout. Then we have got, move the camera, we've got a GWR 060 pannier tank for £15. I can't see a branding on the bottom of this or anything to do with that. It is missing a buffer. Underneath the running gear and the way it's laid out, it does very much remind me of a Triang kind of setup. I've not had it apart yet. It does need a good service. But yeah, she's a good solid little runner. She just needs a good clean out, I think. Again, I'll organise a running session at some point, just so we can do a bit of running. And I'll try and find out what branding it is. We'll come back to this little tank engine in a minute. So then we have, and this is a gorgeous engine, a Britannia class, which I'm realising he's not really in focus, but let's be honest, its best angle is this. Yeah, Britannia class. £25. Now it's billed as a poor runner. It actually runs very nicely. Apart from on the underside, it has been customised and had extra pickups put on it at some point. Originally, this would have been £7,000. 70 was the British rail number in 70,000 or something like that for Britannia. This has been renumbered to 7007, and it is down as what is it? Coeur de Lion, Coeur de something. The numbering change on it has been absolutely fantastic. However, the lettering, like the plates, and these are proper brass plates that someone's gone to the effort of doing. Not so good, not so hot. And if we just have a look underneath, this is the main problem with this engine. If I just flip her, like if you see where they've customized this area here, which means even on the widest radius curves I've got, we get really strong buffer lock. So I need to work on her and fix her, and kind of like, I've got an idea what I can do. It should be fairly simple. But yeah, it's one of the old tender-driven Hornby ones. Gorgeous engine. This is why I'm wanting a longer stretch of track as well, so I can essentially have an excuse to run these big Pacific-style engines. And then last not least, right, there's two reasons I bought this. One, because I wanted a pacer. Because like when I was younger, pacers were the engines that ran. Being in North, pacers were everywhere, and then I think if you were really lucky, you got on a Sprinter. But the pacers seemed to be like around everywhere. They were god awful. But unfortunately, the prices of pacers and Sprinters, I think, is absolutely disgusting. For a 2-car DMU, you know, you're lucky if you can find one for less than 100 quid. And sometimes they sell them as just single, especially the Sprinters. They just sell one unit on its own, and that's kind of like, you want two, don't you? Ideally, because that's how I wanted to see them. But we were in, so a lot of these things have come from a shop called WB Models in Chesterfield, and it's fantastic. I met a guy called Paul Lunn, and because I spent some money, he gave me his book, which is about track planning and stuff like that. He's a really nice guy. I was in there for at least an hour just nattering to him. Great guy. Offers free workshops and sessions and stuff like that. You can book in a half an hour slot and go in and talk to him and stuff. Really good prices. The only downside with the shop, it's only open 2 days a week, a Wednesday and Saturday. But yeah, fantastic. So I got this because it was £50. It's a class 110, I think it is. 3-car. I've only got one of the cars out just because it would fit. It's got this is the dummy car, and then it's got the power car, and then it's got a carriage in between. And I thought it was kind of destiny because the plate on the front with its destination is Doncaster, which is basically where I'm from. So yeah, I thought that was good, and it was, like I said, it was £50 because I wanted something like this. So on our inner loop, if we just go up, first floor, like on the inner loop we've got down here, on this bit, this will maybe have a kind of like a commuter train. So the plan is to have the track kind of running in a way that commuter train comes out on the station, whizzes round the back, and then disappears for a bit, as if it's gone somewhere else, and then comes back. And I'm thinking, I don't know if it'd be possible. Yes, it'd be possible if I had a DCC setup, but I don't have a DCC setup. I have a DC setup, and that won't be changing anytime soon, because I ain't converting all these old beauties. We might get, if I got DCC, it would be in addition. It would be a separate layout, I think. But yeah, I'm wondering if I can program something on an Arduino board to basically get it round the other side, program a switch on have an isolated selection of track. So it goes, it sits, and you say like, wait there for 5 minutes, and then it comes back round. But yeah, I think is it Leopard's Tail YouTube channel. So he's doing some stuff with Arduinos. I might ask him about it because he seems pretty chatty. He seems like a really good guy. I've been watching quite a few of his videos. He's really clever with stuff like that. But anyway, back to this. This is not going to be a short video, is it? So this again. This was from KB. Is it KB Models? KJB Models? I can't remember. KGB. This was £18. So this is Triang. Is it R50, R56, something like that? I've got a box for one of these somewhere that my dad's old tank engine's in. Now I happened to be with my dad, and he saw it, and he was like, "Oh, the one that we've got that's broke. That's that one." This is it in its current state. There are more parts to this. We've got the front bogie, and we've got the tender, and we've got the shell, and the motor's dead on it. But yeah, so this is Princess Victoria, and she's a lovely engine. She were £18. Again, down as a poor runner, but to say this is what, over 50 years old, and he's probably never had a good clean out on it, and the motor's probably original in it. I've not had it apart yet. She runs bloody fantastic. Yes, she's noisy, but all old trains are noisy. All of them sound like a blender. It's just one of them things. But she is a good engine, and I'm glad I've got her. Someone at some point's painted some bits on her, which makes me feel less bad about doing some little touches up on my own, of my own, just to kind of like personalise it. And then I can have a look at the innards on this one, see how she's wired up and stuff like that, which I don't think is particularly hard. Have a look at like what bits are missing off of our current roller, and then restore it, and then happy days. There we go. So last but not least, this used to be the little red tank engine, the little Triang anniversary tank engine, and I've repainted it. So this is not a stellar paint job. I am not kudosing myself at all. I can happily criticise myself over this all day long. But I do like it so far. We've got the this is the main colours done. There's some decal work to add on. I'm going to go in and tidy up these panel lines on it. I thought I'd try and freehand them, like freehand them, and it went okay, but it's hard to get consistency. So what I'll probably do is put some masking tape on and mask round it, and then freehand it. But instead of being like the awful red engine that it was, come on, let go. Oh, we can just take the top off because she's not bolted down. Like, she's now got thanks, tank engine, you're making me look like a fool. I don't even need that sort of help. You guys just, can we just go over here a minute? There we go. Yeah, so we've got the front end's been painted with the red on the buffers. We've mainly gone black. I've highlighted the grab rail, and we've also added in, it's a little bit bent, but if anyone's ever tried to straighten fuse wire, you will understand the pain of trying to make that thing straight. So down here, this is fuse wire that's been glued in. Basically what I did is drilled a tiny little hole in there and then stuck it through just to give it some purchase, and then super glued it. Some of the super glue ran, but it's okay because this is going to be weathered to Billy Buggery, because this is going to be basically our another shunter for our layout, and in there in the coal tender, we're going to fill it up with some. I've got some scenic coals, some various different grades and stuff like that. We're going to fill it up with that. So yeah, so that's the update for now. So as ever, thank you for watching this, in inverted commas, short video, if you do watch it, and I will see you next time.